All right, cool. Hello, everyone. I hope you had a good sports ball Sunday. I am not feeling great. My head was kind of stuffy this morning, and my throat is also kind of scratchy. It's actually improved through the day, but I've spent most of the day in the van, like, not doing much. Laying around. I ran some errands. I picked up some mail. I got some really cool packages, which I'm going to try to open in the next couple of days. But I'm just not feeling well, and so, like, I don't think I really have the right energy to wrap my head around being in the right mood for a package opening thing. But like the title of this video hopefully says, what I wanted to do was talk about something that I find confuses people, and something that's really fun for me because I can't afford anything is window shopping. By the way, if anybody's wondering, this was my college. It was Towson University in Maryland. Sometimes people see these and they're like, what sports team is that? It's my college. I also still have my college hat, which also has a Towson Tiger on it. But anyway, the point of this video is not my sweatshirt. Oh my gosh, my head. Is not my sweatshirt, or my current state of health, which is meh. I thought it would be really fun to do some window shopping for vans, especially to make a distinction between two things I think people find confusing, and that's conversion vans and Class Bs. I am not talking about converted vans. Those are three different things, actually. Converted vans is usually something that was a van in some other form that is converted by the owner. Conversion vans are usually converted from the factory, not to be usually Class B RVs, but usually they have a lot of sort of advanced comfort items. Either the back easily flips down into a bed, or like it'll have fancy stuff on the inside. It'll be a very, very high-end, sort of comfortable passenger vehicle. If you've ever seen like a basic like cargo van turned into like a passenger van, they're kind of low end. They have really, really simple seats, and literally they just took whatever model of cargo van they have, whether it's your older style cargo van or one of the newer, fancier ones, and then they throw some seats in there. But they're not very comfortable. The seats aren't very high end, and usually you don't have something that converts into a bed. But with a conversion van, which a lot of van lifers get, especially the older model ones, and convert into full-time vehicles, but you don't get all of the RV stuff. And that's why Class Bs, even if like the relative size and shape on the outside looks a lot like a conversion van, it may not on the inside have all the RV stuff, and that is what brings the price up of an RV of comparable year, mileage, etc. over a conversion van. Alright, so we're going to start out looking at like a couple of pictures that I grabbed off of Google to sort of talk about the difference between the two styles of van, which would be the conversion van and the Class B. So let's open this conversion van folder for a second. I have to remember what the heck I put in here. Alright, so let's look at this one first. This is a relatively older style conversion van. And on the outside, you might be like, well, how do you know that's a conversion van and not an RV? The multiple windows probably indicate that this was designed for seating. Usually on the outside of an RV, you're going to see vents. A lot of times there's an awning. I'm only looking at it on one side, so the other side might have an awning. Usually your roof is going to have like vents, or like some sort of accoutrement that's needed for the stuff inside. So yeah, so this looks like it's very much just your regular plain old older style conversion van, which doesn't mean it can't be turned into an RV or a full-time living van, but just from the outside you can kind of tell that this is a passenger van, and basically conversion vans are fancy passenger vans. This one's a little fancier, a little newer. Same deal. Nothing on the roof except looks like a roof rack. No signs of vents. You got a couple of windows. The space between here and here might mean this is a space where a bed can stretch out, and so this window is only for one set of seating. Maybe there's a table in the middle there, which isn't uncommon in conversion vans, because conversion vans are basically advanced comfort passenger vans. So yeah, it's just that everything's a little bit more comfortable in a conversion van than it would be in a regular passenger van. Here's looking at one to the side with the doors open. As you can see, if these doors were closed, could be a Class B, can't tell. This is a fairly modern one, but it has 2 seats right here and probably a large space right here where the seating here can probably convert down into a bed. That's kind of the most common way conversion vans look past this center seat. That's a very common format for them. Here is an example of a conversion van with the seats down. This is exactly what I'm talking about. The seats can usually lay out like a bed. You have a couple of seats right here. Sometimes they combine into a really big sleeping area. So it's great for doing a road trip where you're like maybe going to a hotel, like in their original form. These can also be stripped out and turned into really, really great RVs, but you're not going to buy a newer one to strip it out. So the only reason you would flat out buy something like this is you want something you can maybe sleep in on a road trip, you know, with a long drive. You're planning to eat in restaurants. You're not planning to like eat in the car. This is just to make it comfortable on your way there. This isn't commonly something you'd put down just while driving and be like, okay, we've driven enough for the night. We're gonna like lay down, get some rest, and then get back on the road in the morning. And when you're not on a road trip, you can just use it as a regular passenger van. Also, the difference between these and minivans, because a lot of minivans flat out the gate are also built for comfort, is these vans are usually a little bit bigger. So they're usually based in full-size vans as opposed to minivans. In fact, the minivan is more a mini version of this style of van than it is any other sort of van format, for lack of a better term, because these can also just be passenger vans that people own, but with the added comforts if you want to go on a road trip or something like that. Companies might also get them for high-end clients, sort of high-end travel vehicles. This one's a little bit more high-end. I think this is probably in a ProMaster chassis. I think that's where I got this from. As you can see, the seats are really, really fancy. There's some branding back here. This might be storage, I think. These are definitely speakers. So this is sort of what the interior of a more high-end conversion van may look like. I'm pretty sure these probably turn into a bed of some sort. So yeah, these can get really, really fancy. Now, the good thing about converting sort of an older one is sometimes this upper storage, if it has a turtle top or some sort of raised roof, is really nice to just have. And it's storage that already exists without you having to build it in. But honestly, if you're going to do a deep build, you might as well get a flat cargo van and not have to pull stuff out. Because even if you get an older cargo van, nobody would rip this apart. Like, this is maybe somebody would with money to throw away. But I'm pretty sure this is on like a ProMaster body. And so you can get a blank van if all you're going to do is rip it out. But that being said, there's already like lighting and storage that would be very complementary to a build for an older conversion van, and stuff like this isn't very uncommon on the higher end ones. So let's look at some Class B stuff. So how can you really tell the difference between like a Class B and a conversion van? We're gonna go. Alright, so let's look at some Class B stuff. We're gonna look a little deeper into this, but let's just grab a couple pictures again that I just randomly got off the internet. So here is a Class B van. You know, at first glance, not looking too closely with this parked on the street next to a conversion van of the same color and stylish, you're probably not going to catch a whole bunch. There are people who swear they can spot an RV 1,000 miles away, but like for most of your general like people walking on the street, this is just a van. They would never suspect this is a fully functional RV. But some of the telltale markers is this is probably some connector of some sort. Hard to tell. It could be a place where you plug in. It could be like a water inlet. It could be many things. And then you have some vents right here. And then you also have an awning. And people add awnings to their van conversions. But off the lot with a awning is almost a clear sign of it being an RV. Let's look at another one that's very van-like. So again, this is the Road Trek, which is a very popular Class B. And there's a lot of like older models out there. I know people sort of covet getting at a good price. But again, we have the vents. We have something right here that opens. I can't really tell what it is. And then we also have this stuff on the roof right here. It also looks like there's something over here. Yeah, looks like there's something over here. And so even from this side, I'm 90% sure there's an awning on the other side. But even from this side, you know, the vents, whatever this is right here, and this accoutrement on top, like that screams this is a Class B and not just a passenger van. And so let's look at this one too. This is again a fairly modern one. It looks like it's on a Mercedes Sprinter body. And so, but it looks very different than a Sprinter you would get off of the, out of the cargo van section. Just the windows, the decor on the side. Let's ignore this up top because honestly, like even, work vans have stuff on top of their vans sometimes, but you have this. Clearly, these are vents. There's something going on right here. Like, all of this stuff is, like, signs of an RV. I can see the awning actually right here. Like I said, I don't buy this as a sign of anything because there are work vehicles for multiple reasons, like refrigeration and such, that might need some sort of system on top of their van. Some venting system, refrigeration system, AC system. There might be business reasons for things like this to be on top of vans. We like to think like it's only Vanlife. These units don't belong exclusively to Vanlife. But the vents, the other accoutrement on the side, like that is very much, this is an RV. And it's more than likely a factory RV and not a van conversion. So even when you see these and they're like fully looking like a cargo van on the outside, usually there's little signs like this, like ignoring the painting and the branding, that say this is an RV and not like a ProMaster built for like a work van status. Did I actually grab any of those? No, but we're gonna look at those in a second. So this right here is it's sort of a, what do they call it? The VW buses commonly have sort of a layout like this. VW buses are a very common and popular Class B option, but a lot of times this is a common layout for that. Usually have this seat that can be a seat for somebody to sit in. It's a bed, and then it converts up into a seat. And then usually you have your kitchen stuff right here besides this bed. This bed is usually a little smaller than a full. It's a custom size, so if you want to put like foam or mattress on top, it's usually required that you cut the size. You usually can store like underneath of here somewhere, and this is usually storage of some sort, I believe. This is your electrical, but this is a Class B layout. And even though it's probably for a small Class B, like I said, this is a very popular Westie, that's what they call it. It's a very popular Westie layout. Especially like for the very small VW bus. This is an RV. This qualifies as a Class B, even though it probably doesn't have a bathroom, unlike the Road Trek, which might. It doesn't necessarily have all the things the larger RV has. if a van came with this straight off the factory floor, it would be considered a Class B and not a conversion van, which is different, I'll say again, from a converted van. Alright, so let's officially do some window shopping and really look into this. Let's see what they have under new conversion vans. Alrighty, so we're in the new conversion van section of this website. Let's see if they have anything that looks particularly fancy. Ooh, okay, we have a Mercedes Metris down here. Their Mercedes Metris to me is less a conversion van and more like a fancy minivan. I've definitely seen them converted out into full RVs. But yeah, so here we go. There's a vacuum and an air compressor. Oh, that's fancy. So let's see what we have in here. So a lot of this stuff, like I said, it doesn't look much different from a minivan. The only real difference between a conversion van and a minivan is usually size. A conversion van is basically a big, comfortable passenger van, as opposed to a quote-unquote minivan. So yeah, I don't know why they have the Metris in here. To me, the Metris is more of a minivan. We're gonna leave this one. Let's look at something else. So here's a 2019 Savannah 9-passenger. So let's start here. Let's just go into the van. We know what conversion vans look like on the outside. So there's your 2 seats behind the driver's seat, much like a minivan. It looks kind of the same. We're going to skip these a little bit. So this has a lot of seats in it. But as you can see, the seats are very high-end. Again, we have the branding. We have this, which might be a speaker system. It might be a lot of things. Who the heck knows? So yeah. I say so yeah a lot. This might fold down into a bed. It's hard to tell how much space is back there, but just with how long this is, you can see how much longer that is than a minivan space. So if it was gutted out in its older age, because it's in way too nice of a condition to gut out right now, you can see how this could be appealing to convert over. This is a reverse direction. A little bit more of a topical view. So yeah, so this is kind of that's a television. And that's the kind of stuff that you'll commonly find in conversion vans, that are not so, that make them a little bit more than just your standard passenger van. Because you can see it has these, I think those are speakers, those really nice speakers. It has a nice big TV. Every once in a while in minivans, mine has a little flip down DVD player, but it's definitely not this size. This is a nice size TV. So yeah, it's a Samsung, if you were curious. There's a nice view of what that TV looks like. So I think that's enough of that fanciness right there. So let's look at one more conversion van. Let's see. This one looks very, very RV-like. So let's go ahead and click on that one. It has a unit on the roof. So yeah, we see, let's just make this picture a little bit more accessible. We have this giant unit on the roof. I can't use English. It says AC generator utility traveler, which makes me very curious about this one. So let's get on inside here. So that's a lot of space. Did somebody pull out the seats, or is this all folded up? I'm curious about this one. Yeah, I'm wondering if this is missing some seats, which it looks like it is. The interior doesn't look that much different from the van we just looked at. I do believe these are storage, but it's hard to tell. I'm wondering if this was used to transport animals or something, which might be the reason that it needs an air conditioner. That could be one of the advantages to finding a stripped out conversion van. of some sort. Like, I think this one, I'm just gonna guess because of the animal cages, that it was used to transport animals of some sort, maybe. But for some reason, somebody added that roof unit, which could be, really useful to have in an RV, but this is not an RV. Which goes to show, again, there are reasons people add these units to vehicles that have nothing to do with somebody sleeping in them. And we always tend to say, oh, as soon as you have a fan and some solar panels, it's super obvious. Well, this is why you can't really assume that. Because there are other reasons people add these to vehicles. And we are so obsessed with it as van people sometimes that we forget that. So yeah, this is interesting. This is the switch for the generator. But this still counts as a conversion van. It does not have any of the accoutrement needed to qualify it as an RV, despite the raised roof and despite the units on top. This is still a Class B and not a... Sorry, this is still not a Class B, not an RV. It's still a conversion van, despite the modifications that have been made to it. So we're going to go ahead and get out of this one. Let's try to find a very modern conversion van, like a very, very modern one. Let's pull this one up. I like this one. It has a little wheelchair thing, so it looks like this conversion van has been modified for paratransit specifically. And so we're not going to watch that video, but let's look at some of these pictures. Now, because a van is converted for paratransit does not make it specifically a conversion van. This one is an exception, not the rule. If you look at the other website, there are wheelchair vans that are just like basic vans that have been modified to carry a person who's using a wheelchair. It's this kind of stuff that makes it a conversion van. Again, we have the fancy TV. We have some lighting here that's very uncommon outside of conversion vans and RVs, but this is not an RV. The seating is really, really nice. This seat folds down into a bed. And these are the signatures of a conversion van. We got another 9-passenger van down here. That's a conversion van. This one actually has its layout right here. So I'm assuming this is like the convertible couch bed that it usually is. And then we have 4 seats plus the 2 front seats. Again, what makes this not just your generic passenger van is just the quality of the seats and usually luxury features like the TV and the storage. A lot of times companies actually buy these vans for, picking up high-end clients, traveling with high-end clients, these are for people with money. Like Bob on the street isn't buying this van for his family. So I just wanted to look at a couple of those before we jump over to Class B's officially. All right, let's look at camper vans. Camper vans, otherwise known as Class Bs. I will say some of the vans right here are actually Class Cs, but very few of them are. Like this, anything with this overhang, I would qualify in the Class C department. There's a weird thing now with B pluses, and some B pluses to me are just, they're Class Cs. Like I think this right here, this Phoenix Cruiser Dodge Sprinter, it has a slide out. And once you get a slide out, to me that starting to get into Class C territory. They don't really identify it, I don't think. They also take trade-ins, so like I think anything they get goes into the camper van category, but we're not going to look at that because obviously anything with a slide out doesn't have the potential for getting confused with a conversion van. So this is your classic, I don't consider this a Class C at all, but this is your classic raised bubble top. That's not its name, but that's what I call it. Where like you get a higher roof, you can stand on the inside, but you sort of get this like this weird thing that looks like it was just popped on top of a van. This actually has a slide out, so but we're gonna ignore that because there are vans like this with the bubble on top that are RVs. So you can see this, it has an awning. And this next photo, you're like, but that looks like a conversion van, because it kind of does. Like, there's a seat. But that's just for people to travel. This wall right here is what leads us into the RV part of the unit. You can see a microwave right away. There's a table right here, but that doesn't really unqualify it from conversion van territory so much as the microwave. So now you can see where we're getting away from conversion vans and into the Class B. And obviously right behind these two passenger seats, now we have like a whole little micro house. And there you go. This is the angle. This probably converts into some sort of long bed. And obviously, conversion vans have something in the rear that converts to a bed as well. Conversion vans can have storage, but they're not going to have this kitchen. Once you start getting into kitchens, and this I was probably a bathroom, like I wouldn't be surprised, then this is definitely an RV. So let's keep looking around here. So now we have the reverse angle. And we're just going to keep looking through. There's our table. This looks like you can turn it into a bed up here, so you have a cab over bed. And like I said, this in some way probably converts out. You can add the table back here. There's a TV, but TVs are also present in conversion vans. So there's our generator. There's a DVD player. I really feel like there's a bathroom in here, but I could be wrong. Nope, there it is. Shower and toilet. Just like I said, that's a bathroom closet. And so having all of this stuff is what makes this an RV and not just a Class B. So yeah, there's your microwave. So let's move on to another style of Class B. I think once you get into sort of that weird bubble top of thing, then that shouts, I am an RV, a little bit. You don't see a lot of conversion vans with this style of top. Now this one, the Road Trek Popular 190, it looks a little more like a passenger van and less like an RV. So let's go ahead through these photos. Let's skip a little bit over here. So there's that awning, again, which is fairly common on RVs and almost non-existent on conversion vans. There's our open door. As you can see, we don't see any seats except the two up front and what looks like the start of some cabinetry. As you get a little further in, just more cabinetry, and there's your house. You got your sink. You got probably a stove underneath of there. You got your microwave. You got a couch back here that probably converts into a bed. This is actually really nice. I wouldn't mind living in this. I didn't like that other layout so much. I like this one a little bit more. So yeah, there you go. There's all your house accoutrement. This is a Class B. It has longer cabinets, a lot less of those little shallow cabinets that you get in the conversion van, because the conversion van is for you to make a long trip and be comfortable, or even a short trip and be comfortable, whereas this is meant for you to go out like actually camping. And people have camped in conversion vans without converting them out fully, but people camp in all kinds of things. It's not really designed for the full, like, supporting you as a micro house experience, but it doesn't mean it can't be a good camper vehicle even before being like converted out. So there's your TV, which doesn't mean anything because, as we pointed out, conversion vans can have really nice big TVs, but what they won't have is this cabinetry. They won't have the kitchen area. They will have a rear seat that convert into a bed, but obviously the rear seat in this is much more couch-like. So yeah, now we're in our shower closet. And now we're into the mechanics, which is cool and all. But here's the full shower experience. Usually with these, they're rather cramped. They're mostly like water closets with a toilet, but you have all of your amenities. So yeah. So that was the Road Trek Popular 190. If anybody has bank like that, these people do ship vans. They are located in California. I ain't got that kind of bank. You can see what some of these cost. So this is definitely not the site to go to if you're on a budget, but it is a good site to go to just to look at sort of what the differences are at the high extreme end. So let's look at this Road Trek built on a Sprinter chassis. Now, if this was white, like fully white, it would be almost indistinguishable from like a regular Sprinter. And the things that make it stand out, which isn't necessarily true on all vehicles, is sort of this paintwork right here, and the fact that it's kind of a goldish color, which is uncommon. Like most cargo vans are white. Again, we have stuff right here that's sort of like signaling an RV, and that's what would make you think, oh, this is a Class B and not a cargo van or a passenger van. There's our awning. And here's our open side door, which immediately begins revealing some of the house features. Oh, those are cool. So you got some flip down step up there. I think this is either a convection oven or a microwave of some sort. And there we go into the house. These things are really cramped. I mean, like, they're nice, but they really are really cramped. Like, you get this much space. And there's your back bed, which you can see there's seat belts coming out, so you can safely travel passengers in this, but, you know, definitely usually also folds out into a bed. There's your roof unit. There's our reverse angle. Nice little shelf up here for holding like your kitchen stuff. Nice little wide view of the cabinetry. This looks like it's a, covered up TV. Yep, there it is. With the cover off. Probably a DVD, possibly Blu-ray player if it's more modern. Just a cabinet. There's your bathroom, which probably has a shower head up here somewhere. Oh, I'm surprised. This looks like it's the hook where the shower head goes, so I don't know if it's missing or just not hooked up. Nope, there it is. So I guess you can pull this out of here and then just put it up on the wall. It's weird. It's behind the toilet. There's like, probably this is one of those deals where like your stove is underneath, and then you just flip this up and you have a stove, and when it's down you have your whole countertop. You got the sink covered up. This is a really high-end unit. So yeah, there's your stove, your sink. Again, I'm not sure if this is the fridge, but I'm not sure if this is a microwave or convection oven or both, just because this is a high-end unit. Sometimes they come with convection ovens. So yeah, your fridge has a freezer. I'm going to rewind there. Freezers. Fridges aren't that uncommon in van life. Freezers are a little more uncommon. Just because it takes a lot of power to run just the fridge. Especially off-grid or continuously. Like, if you have a big battery bank, but for some reason, like, your power supply gets cut off, whatever that is, a couple bad days where you don't have solar. I mean, I'm sure out in the Arizona desert, it's great, but, you know, nobody wants to stay in one place. But there's multiple reasons why a lot of people, you know, get as far as a fridge and stop, and never get as far as getting a unit with a freezer in it. Because it just takes power to run these things. So, yeah. Fridges are the highest source of continuous power needs. You have all your switches, it looks like, for all of your electrical needs, probably including things like water pumps and all of that. Depending on if this uses propane, you might have something on your power switch for that. And there's the back of your RV. which has some storage. So cool. So there's an idea of sort of a higher end, very modern Class B. It's a 2014. I don't know why this says error 404, page not found when we're on the page. I think it would be really cool to go to this lot and look around because it's only in Hayward, which isn't that far, but I don't know if I could go there with a camera and start poking my head in things. So yeah, so that's sort of like just a general look at sort of Class B's and conversion vans and what those two words mean. So I hope you enjoyed that little fantasy trip through a van browsing experience. The term conversion van is very confusing, up against converted vans or van conversions. And if you're looking for something cheap, you don't want to go to dealerships like those. You're going to be wanting to go on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and eBay and auction sites. And those sites may misrepresent the terms Class B and conversion van, but maybe this video has helped somebody sort of understand what the difference is between those two terms and those two types of vehicles. It's a very small distinction, especially because in some ways on the outside, a lot of things look alike, even though they basically have micro differences. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing well. Ugh. And I may have just been sitting up too long. And I have training tomorrow. The guy who stood me up several times for an interview, we finally got the interview done. And so, like, I have training for that job next week. Sorry, not next week, tomorrow. And last week, I picked up some extra stage management stuff for the children's theater. But I digress. There are good things, but I don't want to have to, like, not show up for training tomorrow. So I think I'm going to lay down. Yeah. Give me a second. So yeah, I just hope I've... Alright guys, I'm with you. So I just hope I've given some clarity sort of on the difference between a conversion van and a Class B van, and even what makes a conversion van a little more fancy than your standard passenger van. Even though a lot of them are based on the same van chassis, like almost everything you're going to see that's a full-size van is based on a cargo van model. So you have a Ford Transit, and it can be the base model can just be sold as a cargo van, but it could also have been turned into a conversion van. It can be turned into a Class B, and it can be turned into a very basic passenger van, which usually has those really uncomfortable, like, bench seats, which is your most standard, just basic passenger van, which is different from the conversion van because the conversion van's like a little bit fancier. But almost everything is based on that base van chassis, that base cargo van chassis. And if you're not getting it brand new, if you're getting it older, the advantage of getting things like a conversion van that's a few years old is usually it has some sort of cabinetry built into it. It might have some lighting that you can repurpose. It might already be set up for a television, even if the television isn't there. And so that's why it's good to know sort of what the difference is between those two vans. But I really need to lay down. So, peace, guys. I'm out. Did you find the information in this video useful? Well, the best way to help me continue to grow is to like, comment, and if you want notifications about future videos, please subscribe. You can also join us on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. Looking forward to the next time I hang out with you.